Evening, Tom, by the way, if you are tuning in. Oh, hopefully it's not the distinct sense of deja vu that I'm getting from Tuesday night. I have a feeling it might be at this moment in time. Now, I hope he joins. I've just given him an invite into the party and into the lobby even. So hopefully he'll just join soon. If not, it'll be probably same as Tuesday. With the solo commentary. 2 solo commentaries in the space of 3 nights. I don't think that'll go quite well. Yeah, I don't know where he is. He was online about 6 hours ago. So I'm hoping he does join. I'm in a party with him technically. So he can join this one whenever he gets online. But hopefully we're going to be getting a full live stream going again. I know somebody reported about Vodafone being down in Germany, so might have something to do with that. If possible, you might have to put another penny in the meter, maybe. But I'm live anyways. We're all fine. And we've got 7 in so far, which doesn't look too bad. I think in terms of the championship standings, there's going to be quite a decent race as well. Nearly an hour's worth of action again. Mashiro, Zwadema, Seb, Jekyll, Gary, top 5. Really interesting. We've got constructors. Constructors looking quite tight as well. McLaren Alfa Romeo, 13 points separating. And then I'm just going to quickly check my work emails before we start. Right. Oh. Couple of minutes away from starting and he's not here. I like it. I like it a lot. We've got 12 in now, so it doesn't look like too bad. The more drivers we have in, the more chances we've got of having a chaotic race. Hopefully it's a good run. Hopefully. Sway, Gary, Jekyll, Alonso, Trippy, Jeff. Just Chris is back. Good to see him here. Oh, ah. La 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 la. Oh, come on, Mike. If you're there, join. I don't want to do another commentary by myself again, but if worse comes to worse, I will. If you're on your own again, turn down your game volume a bit, maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna do that quickly when I'm in, because I'm in the party now. I'll just go blue screen and then I'll just turn it down. I do not want to be having a shout at the top of my voice like a couple of nights ago. How do I do it again? Adjust audio mix. There we go. Just quickly. I don't think that's made any difference at all, but yeah, I am ready to go. I'm all ready to go, Tom. Hopefully Mike will be able to join. Hopefully it's not the case he joins during the introduction, but if it is, then yeah, just has to be, I guess. But yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's do it. So, as I can see you typing there, I'm going to wait. Use the in-game sound settings otherwise. Yeah, I've turned it down on my end on through the party. I've turned it down by about 4 to the left of where it was. So, hopefully it's going to be fine. But yeah, I'm ready to go, Tom. Let's do it. Without further ado, as per usual, it's 10 seconds. Good evening everyone and welcome to TTML Division 2. We are here for round 8 of the championship as we take in the Singapore Grand Prix from the Marina Bay Street Circuit. As you can tell, my name is James Head. I'm here once again to commentate you through the action for Division 2, and hopefully it's going to be the case where my co-commentator Mike Edwards is going to join again. He seems to have done the dirty on me once again like Tuesday night, and his internet might have gone down. Hopefully he'll be able to join during the course of this session. If not, it'll just be a solo commentary from me, of course. Let's get straight into it then. Of course, Tom doing the graphics as usual. And let's review what happened last week in Belgium, because Mashiro, our championship leader, took the win. Seb finishing in second and Tionis in third. Really good interviews with two of them at least last week in Belgium. What did that do to the championship standings, I hear you ask? Well, Mashiro out on top on 157 points from Zwadema in second on 131, Seb in third on 127 with Jekyll in fourth on 108, Gary is in fifth on 103 with Tionis in sixth on 98, Matt Tibos, who's got a run of 6 positions to his name, in seventh on 90 with Volokongan in eighth on 82, AJ in ninth on 80 and Sway rounding off the top 10 on 68 points. Alonso in 11th on 64 with Cowboy in 12th on 53. Ryan 13th on 51, Trippy Jeff 14th on 36, and we've got a tie for 15th with James and Adamako. James not racing tonight because of a team event. Adamako completely left the league altogether. Cam in 17th on 24, F1AMG in 18th on 21, and Powdy and Nathan tied for 19th on 20 points. Next up, the Constructors standings. We have got quite a few drivers here, which I'll come on to in just a second, but McLaren Out on top of the constructors on 247 points, with Alfa Romeo in second on 234, Mercedes in third on 206. So it's a 13-point gap between McLaren and Alfa Romeo at the top of the constructor standings. Renault, Red Bull, Williams, Haas, Racing Point, AlphaTauri and Ferrari round off your top 10. The points to the right-hand side, of course, Ferrari down on 53 points there at the bottom. Hopefully be hoping for a good result here tonight in Singapore. And the track in question, Singapore. 31 laps do await these drivers. First of all, of course, it is an 18-minute qualifying session. 5 kilometres in distance, 156.9 kilometres in race length as well. So it's going to be fascinating, I think, to see how these guys do get on track. There's the 3 DRS zones, of course, which I'll come on to more in our official track introduction. 1 down the start-finish straight, 1 down towards turn 7, 1 down towards turn 14 as well. It's going to be a fascinating night's worth of action, of course. And hopefully it is going to be the case where we do have a co-commentator joining me in the commentary box, and that is going to be Mr. Michael Edwards, hopefully going to be coming in out on track. And with 8 o'clock fast approaching, we have been rumoured to start on time tonight because Sway is not going to be waiting for anyone who's complete the new update for F1. And of course the F2 2020 cars have now came into play on the game. Give us your thoughts, of course, on that in the comments section. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well about any support for the drivers out on track, any support for me being a solo commentator for the second time in 3 evenings. It's going to be fascinating, I'm sure, though, out on track to see how this race does unfold. And we're going to get started very shortly indeed. I know Sway has just readied up there within the lobby. And it is going to be a fascinating night. Mashiro, just a reminder, is on 157 points. He's got a 26-point gap over Zwiadema in second on 131. So essentially, if you thought about it, if this was the traditional standard point system for Formula 1, Mashiro would be currently a race victory ahead out on track. It's not. We've got the alternative point system, of course, 30 points for the win, and 2 points, of course, going for pole position. And that's where we're going to be focusing our attention on first, those 2 points. Who's going to pick them up, of course, here in qualifying. And it has been the case where we've had a number of different drivers on qualifying. AJ could do well, I think Seb could do well, certainly within qualifying, but Damon should be up there in the pace. And it all depends on the weather forecast, of course, whether we see intermediate running, like we did last night, of course, in 2 nights ago, I should say, in Division 1. And then we also saw it in Division 2 as well. Can we see it tonight? Who knows? But we are going to get underway for qualifying very shortly indeed. I really hope you guys are doing well on this fine Thursday evening, and it is about time to get in towards qualifying here at the Singapore circuit, the Marina Bay Street circuit. 23 turns awaiting these drivers, of course, out on track, and it's going to be a fascinating night's worth of action. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start qualifying. I've just clicked on the wrong video, so that's great. We are here, of course, in Singapore tonight for the Singapore's Grand Prix. And, of course, my name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream. As always, Mike Edwards should be joining me in the commentary box, but we'll have to see how this race unfolds out on track. There's 3 compounds of tyres, of course. Compounds are C2, C3, C4 out on track, so it's going to be fascinating to see how the action goes on. 23 turns await these drivers out on track, 5 kilometres in length and 156.9 kilometres in race distance. 3 DRS zones, 1 down the start-finish straight, 1 down towards turn 7, 1 down towards turn 14. It's going to be a fascinating night, I think, of action out on track, and the overtaking around this track could be quite hard, I think, to certainly see. We'll see how that goes on. I'll apologise to Tom there. I accidentally clicked on a video on my end there, and yeah, the video went off and I couldn't get back up in time. So that might be why it's a little bit unprofessional to you guys. I do apologise. That didn't mean to happen. That's the knack, really, of live commentary. Things can go wrong, and they probably and sometimes do. But we are about to get the first drivers out on track here in qualifying. It's going to be fascinating to see, of course, how these guys do unfold out on track. Already you can see to the left-hand side on the tyre tower, we have got a couple of guys going out there on a set of medium compound of tyres. That's just Chris and Tiana, so I've selected that set of medium compound of tyres early on. It's going to be fascinating to see how these guys get on. And the first man to leave us out on track, I believe, is Wadema, if I'm not mistaken. Look like an Alfa Romeo leaving the pit lane. I might be completely and utterly wrong, though. It is actually one of our new drivers, Ace Noisy, who was in the Division 1 chat, actually. And he should be a very good driver, I think, to ride on board with, the AlphaTauri man, on his debut here in Division 2. Let's see what his pace is about. Haven't commentated on him before, so it's going to be fascinating to see how it all unfolds. Sway Gary towards the top end of the field there, you can see on the left-hand side of your grid, but already nearly 2 minutes into qualifying, no lap times being set just yet. So, everyone waiting until the track evolves under the bright night light here in Singapore. As Noisy now comes down towards the Singapore Sling. Remember, this used to be a chicane a few years ago until they got rid of it, I think in 2011, 2012, if I'm not mistaken. And it's Noisy now coming across the Anderson Bridge section out on track. Looking very nice through there. Now through turn 13 and towards this DRS zone. You can already see the DRS is enabled, not necessarily in the race. They'll have to wait until 3 laps into the race to enable DRS, of course, within the race. And Noisy trying to make some noise, I think, out on track, and hopefully he will have the ace in the car, the ace pack, essentially out on track. My puns are going to be terrible. I trust you that, honestly. Noisy now coming in the grandstand section through 18 and 19, and then towards 20 and 21. We'll now pick up on board with him on a lap time. Machine also there on an out lap, so we'll ride on board with him very soon indeed. But Noisy round the final corner out on track, looking very nice indeed as he comes across the start-finish line to start us off on a lap of the Singapore circuit. Through turn 1, then through turns 2 and 3. They came up very quick through the first sector, and wide but nice through there. And now Noisy runs through turn 4 and then through the right-hander of turn 5. You don't want to invalidate and don't want to get too close to the wall on the left-hand side. Noisy now coming through the kink at turn 6 towards turn 7, and there's heavy braking zone and to the end of the first sector split to 26.6 through the first sector. Noisy looking really clean, I've got to say, so far. There are the towers that really dominate the skyline here in Singapore, just off to the middle of the driver's view. And now Noisy comes through turn 8 and towards the Singapore Sling. There are the towers, as I was mentioning on about. Now runs through turn 9 through the Singapore Sling, then through 10, 11, across the Anderson Bridge now, towards 12 and 13, getting very close to the right-hand side there, and now runs to the left-hand side to try and cut the corner as much as possible. Now Noisy running down the straight, beautiful camera shot as we ride on board there, cross into the middle sector split, 103.8. This is not looking like a bad lap at all from Noisy so far, looking a really consistent lap as he now comes towards a very tight and twisting section, through 15, then 16, and then through 17, and towards the underneath the tunnel, underneath the grandstand section at 18 and 19. Looking really nice indeed. Of course, Abu Dhabi coming up in real life. It looks like Noisy, though, has backed off this one. I'm not sure if he picked up an invalidation out on track. It didn't look like it to me as if he did, but Noisy is around the final corner, and he has completely... Oh, and he's now preparing for a lap once again, and that is a valid lap. It's 39.6 from him out on track. Let's see who's furthest on a lap. Mashiro, our championship leader. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. I can only assume somebody has either spun or has invalidated, possibly setting up for a lap. And now Mashiro through 18 and 19. This will be inevitably quicker than Ace Noisy. Noisy really put in a good lap there until he backed off. And now Mashiro definitely one not to back off our championship leader as the Japanese man. Now comes around the final couple of corners, and he's another one that actually backs off around the final corner. Weird strategy, I think, from some of the guys out on track. They don't want to put that ace hand early. Seb, though, does want to put his ace hand early. It's a 33.5, but it's an invalidated lap, and he doesn't go quick as we thought. Trippy Jeff as well invalid. Excel Ryan through the first sector has just completed on a lap. Trying on board anybody else that might be out there. Alonso through the final corner, runs wide, 36.7, another invalidation out on track. Not many guys getting in an early lap so far on the set of soft compound tyres. I'm a little bit shocked, to be honest. Jake Hall is down on a lap time as well. He hasn't set a lap time, and we've only got 2 drivers so far to have set a lap time. That's Mashiro and that's Ace Noisy, 35.3 compared to a 39.6. So clearly these guys not giving anything away. Somebody that might give it away, though, is Nathan, coming through 16 and 17. Of course, I believe he's in George Russell's car, if I'm not mistaken. George Russell, of course, going to be racing for Williams this weekend as opposed to Mercedes. Hamilton, of course, back in the car for Mercedes. If you haven't looked at the news, Nathan coming through, and that's an invalid lap if I've ever seen one. Through turn 21 there. Might have been invalid anyways, but he comes now into the pit lane. So Nathan, another one, not sending a lap time out on track. Seb getting out of the way, coming through turn 14. Tibos is on a good lap here, coming across the Anderson Bridge section. Let's ride on board with him as he now comes through. That's a lovely camera angle as we ride on board. That's a fantastic shot as he runs down in towards turn 14, 102.7 through the middle sector. Really, really good through there as he now comes through 15 and then in towards 16 and 17. Absolutely loving this camera angle, if I've got to be honest. Beautiful on-board shot as now Matt Tibos comes through, turns 18, turn 19. Really flying on this lap. Now through turn 20, and then through turn 21. Again, see a little bit of a change in the camera angle there towards the left now, through the final corner. Matt Tibos goes quickest, 35 flat, but it's another invalidated lap out on track, and there's not many guys out there on lap. I think Trippy Jeff has just also a bit of end plate damage, actually, right side end plate damage for Trippy Jeff, and hopefully he'll be driving better than we last saw him. Gary and Sway are on laps as well. Gary just preparing up to one. He now comes through turn 19 out on track. Interestingly, Gary on a set of mediums, 5th coming into the championship tonight. And no towers to the left-hand side, by the way. Tom not showing those, but we'll try and show you, of course, plenty of other graphics as we go along. As now Gary through the final corner comes across the line. Let's ride on board. Let's see if we can go quicker than Mashiro on a set of soft compound of tyres, of course, Mashiro. Through turn 1. 10 minutes left in qualifying. I'm about as surprised as seeing nobody has set a lap in just yet. It's only Mashiro and Ace Noisy that have got laps in. Gary's the furthest one on a lap currently, as he now comes through towards the end of the first sector. And 26.3 through the first sector from Gary, looking really good indeed through there. Now through turn 7, then through turn 8. I'm going to go side by side through there, because otherwise you'll end up either in the barrier or you'll end up out in the race. It's as simple as that. Gary ran the final couple of corners, I should say, through the first couple of corners, I should say, in this middle sector. Now coming across turn 10, and then through turn 11, across the Anderson Bridge section, through turn 12, and then 13, into the hairpin. Really, really nice on the power there from Gary. So now comes towards the end of the middle sector. See what this middle sector is, 102.5, so it's the quickest we've seen so far. So now approaches turn 14. Through turn 14 he goes, now through the kink of 15, and through on the brakes, pretty much halfway through the corner, through 16, then through 17, riding the curbs very nicely indeed. If it was wet, of course, they wouldn't be touching those curbs out on track. Underneath the tunnel, through 18 and 19. Then to the left of the Singapore Eye, through 20 and 21, underneath the underpass. And now Gary towards the final 2 corners out on track. He's run out of ERS, but it's a perfect lap from Gary, and he goes quickest, 34.4. Really nice lap time from him. Sway is on a lap in the middle sector, but I think he's invalidated, if I'm not mistaken, as he now comes towards the final couple of corners within this middle sector. 103.5. Yeah, about a second off Gary currently. So I don't think he's on a lap. Volokongan is, though. I think Volokongan is just coming through turn 6 there, now through turn 7, and then in towards turn 8. Now Volokongan on a lap. Nobody yet to play their hands in qualifying. But Gary out on top, Mashiro second, Ace Noisy in third as it stands. With Sway, Nathan, Seb yet to set a time amongst the whole lot. But hopefully we'll have a look. And yeah, I did butcher that, didn't I, Tom? I really did butcher that. Volokongan through the middle sector. I will change the in-game master volume by about 1 or 2, yeah. So I'll do that now if I can. Sorry if you do see this on your screen. Yeah, I'm going to move it down to 8. There we go, that sounds a lot better. That sounds a lot better already. Volokongan now through turns 19, 20, 21 effortlessly as we come back on board with him. And now through towards the final couple of corners. Looks like he's going to go quicker than Gary here around the final corner from Volokongan across the line. 33.9 goes quickest for now, with nowhere near the sort of times that we should be seeing from these guys out on track. Alonso through the first sector, 27 flat. He's another one not deciding to use up that ERS out on track. And he could be one that we could see out on track, hopefully is providing a good result. So now comes through turn 8. Then towards the Singapore Sling at turn 9. Brakes hard into the apex there. Beautiful. Now through turns 10, 11, 12, towards the right-hand side through the Anderson Bridge, and now through 13. He's on a lap though, so we'll continue to ride on board with this. We've got Ryan and F1AMG on a lap. We've got Jekyll on a lap as well. In fact, Jekyll's the one behind Alonso out on track, so we'll cut on board with him in just a second. As Alonso little 15th, Jekyll 16th, still yet to set any time. 6 minutes ago, everyone is playing a really canny game, I think, out in qualifying. And Alonso through turns 18 and 19. Lepongan, Gary, Mashiro, Noisy, still your 4 that have completed laps out on track. Oh, and Alonso gets a bit of a twitch there coming out of 21, and that's immediately put him back into the pit lane. Jekyll, though, through the final couple of corners. Is Jekyll going to go quickest of the night? Yes, he does, by only a tenth of a second. In fact, there's another invalid lap out on track. F1AMG across the line, I think, there, as Seb has gone quickest. Seb goes quickest, 33.6. We are nowhere near, as I say these times, that these guys are going to be setting out on track. But hopefully you guys are doing well. Division 3 also live. Aidan Carter and Conti. I'm sure there's a co-commentator there for Division 3, which I'm glad to report. Live standings, by the way, Mashiro out on top. 159 to Adema, second on 131, and Seb in third on 127, of course, coming into tonight. And yeah, Honey Badger delivers. He does indeed. And plenty of support seen there. Larkin coming into the comment section as well, cheering on the Excel lads. And Seb currently the one out on top here in qualifying with nearly 5 minutes to go. Jekyll not on a lap, I don't think. Neither is F1AMG. We'll go on board then with Matt Tibos on a set of mediums. And he is on a lap. He is coming now towards the end of the middle sector. And through the middle sector to 1 on 2.5. So he's there or thereabouts, I think, in terms of what Gary was setting on that set of tyres, 34.4. And let's see what the McLaren man can do out on track. He's got a run of 6th places to his name. 3 in a row, he's finished 6th. Can he break that mould here tonight? He's been unlucky in all of those races as well, if I've got to be honest. He might be the unluckiest driver of the season, maybe. But Matt Tibos now ran towards the final couple of corners through 22 and 23. And he's going to go behind Gary, I think. Yeah, 34.6. He goes nearly 0.2 of a second off Gary third, Matt Tibos in 4th. Jekyll back into the pit lane. F1AMG is back into the pit lane. Who's furthest on then? On and out lap. Adema is coming through the final couple of runs. I think we'll run above them with Adema. He's around the final corner now. Again, on the side of medium compounder tyres. And these guys, of course, trying to prioritise the tyre wear, and that is not a great turn 1 there from Adema. He got caught wide coming through turn 1. Didn't touch the white line or anything like that. It just simply, the car looked unstable, and that's why he ran wide. Wouldn't be surprised if this is an invalid lap that he is on currently. We'll run above him still, nonetheless. He's the furthest on. Nathan, I think, has just started up on a lap as well. Demo through the first sector, 26.5. But he hasn't backed off if this was an invalid lap. Runs out of through turn 7, and then through turn 8. And again, car looking a little bit unstable as he goes through there. And through turn 8. Looking really nice through there. That might have been an invalidation through there. Now down towards turn 9 at the Singapore Sling. Coming now towards the Anderson Bridge section through 10, 11, and then through 12 and 13. They fly across the bridge here. And through the middle sector. We'll see Adema come past us, hopefully on the left-hand side. And we continue to run above with him, in fact. Cross through the middle sector, split to 103 flat. Comes Adema in the middle sector. Seb out on top and Volokongan second. Gary in third if you are just tuning in. Mashiro, Ace Noisy also back out on improvements, hopefully. And Adema still right on board with him. Nathan is behind him on a lap, probably about 20 seconds behind him, I would say. As Adema now through turns 20, 21 out on track. Got to really put this together now. To the final couple of corners he comes. And he's going to go probably behind Mashiro maybe with this lap across the line. He goes behind, goes ahead of him in fact, 34.9. Found the time in the final sector. Nathan's round the final corner and he goes 5th, just ahead of Adema, 1600ths of a second, separating Nathan and Adema, the two Dutchmen. Mashiro, 4/10ths down on a set of mediums. Ace Noisy is down on a lap, I think, as well. We've got Tionis on a lap here as well. And Tionis is the one to watch, I think, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, all of those guys are down on their lap time. Ace Noisy will certainly improve, but Tionis now, better place finish, of course, last time out in Belgium. Through 18 and 19 he comes. Now through 20 and then 21. Mashiro has gone 3rd. He improved in the final sector. 34 flat. He goes up to 3rd. Tionis Round the final corner, out on track. It's a valid lap. Across the line he comes, and he goes 9th. He slows out of everyone on the medium compound of tyres. 35 flat. He's 1.4 seconds off the back of Seb. Trippy Jeff through the middle sector. Oh, the first sector split, I think, was a 26.5 from Trippy Jeff. We've got just Chris just starting up on a lap. Alonso is behind him, so we'll go on board with Trippy Jeff then. Minute and 25 left to go here in qualifying. And again, I've been left to fend for myself in terms of commentary. Oh, I flick on board with Sway by mistake. I didn't mean that. Trippy Jeff still on a lap. Coming across the Anthem Bridge section. Oh, getting caught in the curb slightly. Nearly spun into the wall to the left-hand side. And Trippy Jeff's on a good lap here. Flies it through the first gears. And now comes towards the end of the middle sector split. 103.3. Not the quickest we've seen so far tonight. In the Haas, of course. And Haas, you might have seen in the news, been causing quite a ruckus with one of their new signings, Nikita Mazepan. It's just totally inconsolable, I think, what he has done. He should be sacked from the team, and it's as simple as that. Trippy Jeff, though, is not going to be sacked from the team. It's in the sim world, so he's not going to be sacked from the team in this race. Round through towards the final couple of corners out on track. And now comes round the final couple of corners. Alonso probably about 10 seconds behind him. Trippy Jeff across the line to go 10th. And Alonso coming back into the pit lane. That's his qualifying done. J. Cole on a lap through the middle sector. Just Chris has not gone on a lap. He's invalidated. He's certainly invalidated there as he cuts across the track. Ryan just started on one. Sway, though, through the middle sector. Let's see what he can do. 102.5, there or thereabouts in terms of Gary, in terms of Ace Noisy, who did improve up to 34.4. Seb, though, still out on top of Volakongan in second. Nobody trying to set a real quick lightning time out on track as Mashiro and Noisy retire from the session. Matibos back into the pit lane, Tionas back into the pit lane. There's not many drivers now to come across to actually set a lap. Volakongan did improve, and he's within 1900th of a second on Seb, and that was on a set of soft compounded tyres. Sway now ran the final couple of corners. Let's see what he can do. Comes across the line. Good lap from Sway. 34.5. Puts him there in the mix into 7th. So Adema is on a lap. He's 6 tenths up. Coming through the middle sector. Trippy Jeff. Ryan are further on as well. Ryan through the middle sector. Just coming through the Singapore Sling there. And that is a retired Red Bull. Ferrari, I should say, out on track. Probably just Chris, I would imagine. So Adema now towards 20 and 21. Can he improve? 6 tenths of a second will find him up to 5th. Vadema now needs to put it all on the line. Through the final couple of corners, he's not improving, I don't think, with that. Across the line, he does. He goes up to 7th. He lost the time in the final sector. Let's see how Ryan's getting on a lap. He's on a set of medium compounded tyres. He could be there or thereabouts in terms of the likes of Gary, Noisy, J. Cole, around that sort of area. Gary will be hoping to try and improve as well. 34.2. is his current time. But Ryan ran the final couple of corners now. Let's see what he can do through the final corners. Comes across the line. 34.5, he puts him 9th. Let's see where Gary is. Gary's down a lap. Trippy Jeff is down a lap as well. So that is the end of qualifying. And it's Seb, who did improve on a lap to a 33.4, out on top from Volakongan in 2nd and Mashiro in 3rd. That's the rundown of the top 3 there in qualifying. Trippy Jeff retires from the session. We're just waiting on Gary to make his way back into the pit lane. And then we can get going for 31 laps worth of action here in Singapore at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. We should see Gary retire very soon indeed. And Seb out on top from Volakongan in 2nd and Mashiro, championship leader in 3rd. So it's going to be quite interesting. Seb there in 1st, Mashiro in 3rd. And his nearest championship rival, of course, Mashiro being Seb, he is outscoring him currently in qualifying. 2 positional points, of course, 2 pole position points, I should say, go to Seb. At the end of qualifying, it is Seb, who qualified on a set of soft compound tyres on top from Volakongan in 2nd, 2.5 tenths separating the top 2. With Mashiro in 3rd, fastest of the medium runners, with Gary 4th, Noisy on his debut in 5th, good qualifying from him. With J. Cole in 6th, Wadema in 7th, with Sway in 8th, Ryan in 9th, and Matt Tibos rounding off the top 10. 1.2 seconds separating the top 10. Just less than a second separating the top 4. Nathan in 11th, with Tionas in 12th, Trippy Jeff in 13th, and we didn't see lap times from F1 AMG, just Chris and Alonso. So the 2 Ferraris not getting in on their lap times, and neither did Alonso in that racing point, picking up, I think, plenty of invalidations out on track. Let's have a look then at this track once more. The Singapore circuit, 31 laps await these drivers out on track around a 5-kilometre circuit. It's 156 kilometres in race distance, and we should be seeing some really good overtaking, hopefully, around a track that is not known for overtaking out on track, and hopefully we don't see any of those pesky DRS trains. We see a really good race out on track. As we now load back into the lobby, we are very shortly going to be getting underway. But what I want to hear from you guys in the comment section is, who are you supporting here tonight? Who are you going for a top 3 here tonight in Division 2? Are you going to go for Seb out on pole? Are you going to go for Mashiro in 3rd? Or are you going to go for somebody like AJ right down towards the bottom end of the field? AJ's not even here, so that's why I said that. It's Noisy down in 5th as well on his debut. Matt Tebost further down the field. Can he come back with a vengeance? It remains to be seen, of course, here in Singapore. Division 3 is live also. They're just preparing up for the race start. Isotopic, Old School and Steve out in the top 3 for that one. Division 2, though, which you're riding on board with, is going to be one of those nights. I think we're going to see some really good action. It is only myself, as I say, James Head in the commentary box, Matt Tibbles, Mike Edwards not joining me in the commentary box. His internet must have went down once again, but we now get started for the race. And you can see the top 10, of course, having to qualify on the same set of tyres that they qualified on. So that is a ratio of 80% to 20%. 80% starting on the mediums and 20%, of course, starting on the soft compound of tyres. Seb and Volakongan, the exception rather than the rule. They are going to try and get a good strategy. There's the predicted pit stop strategy right on point. Lap 6 to 8, lap 18 to 24, it seems, for a 2-stop strategy round here. 2-stop probably the way to go, I would imagine, looking at how Perpetuum was closing, certainly in Division 1 late on the back of our eventual winner, Amazing Hour, of course, in Division 1. If you missed Division 1, go and watch that back after this. But better get going here. We are on now the formation laps, coming through turn 7 and turn 8. And Seb, Volakongan, Mashiro, your top 3. Just Chris and Alonso have been disqualified from the session. They've obviously made a little bit of contact out on track. Looking further down the field as well, quite interesting to note, Nathan, Tionis, Trippy Jeff and Just Chris, all on a set of medium compound of tyres. On a set of hard compound of tyres, it is that man there, F1 AMG, and Alonso. And F1 AMG, we're hoping later on in the race will come his time. He'll try and pick them off one by one, maybe try and get a few overtakes done on lap 1, but it remains to be seen. It's very difficult to overtake around a street circuit like this, and it's going to be fascinating to see. You can see his pit stop strategy. Trippy Jeff is just fast coming through turn 13, lap 12 to 18 for a 1-stop strategy onto a set of mediums. Mediums, though, do tend to wear off even more than the hard compound of tyres. The softs, mediums and the hards, hoping to do this one. And we're hoping to do it justice, of course, out on track. Even though it is just one commentator in the commentary box, I'm sure that myself and Tom, who's doing the graphics in the behind the scenes, are going to keep you entertained throughout this night. And now, as we come towards the end of the qualifying session, I would ask my Ghost co-commentator, of course, for a top 3, but I'm going to have to tell you my top 3 anyways, aren't I? So, I think for my top 3, I'm going to go Mashiro for the win, Seb for 2nd, and Zwadema for 3rd. Just think further down the field as well, watch out for Matt Tibbles. I think that run of 6th from 3 races ago is now going to come to end here tonight by picking up maybe 4th or 5th out on track. But we are now just moments away. We see the run down to the grid, a very short run, less than 200 metres down towards turn 1, and the 5 red lights are about to go out now here in Singapore for round 8 of the championship in TTML Division 2. Long hole, but it's lights out and away we go. Volakongan gets a very good start, so does Seb, so does Mashiro, and Volakongan has already jumped Seb off the line. He's got the lead. Volakongan gets the lead through turn 1. Mashiro fighting off Gary, and they both make contact coming through turn 1, and there's 3 wide in behind for Dermot Jekyll. Somebody's going to be forced out wide for sure. Gary has lost a whole host of positions early on, coming into contact with one of his championship rivals, but early on Nathan trying to go down the inside line of Ryan. He gets the place, he's up into 7th. Gary running back at Trippy Jeff. Hectic hectic start further down the field. Ryan now still on the inside line, trying to make it 3 wide with J. Cole. Certainly making it 2 wide with Nathan down on the inside line through turn 6. Can he try and get the move done? No, he can't. Ryan tries to go around the outside. Nathan, a little bit of a desync there from Nathan, and he keeps the position. 2 Ferraris having a big fight as well. F1AMG hanging on from just Chris and Alonso. But early on, it's Volokongan who leads Seb in second. Ace Noisy is up into third. Really good start. He's made 2 positions early on. Machiro in 4th, Spadema in 5th, J. Cole 6th, Nathan 7th, Ryan in 8th, Trippy Jeff in 9th, Gary rounding off the top 10, Sway, Matt Tibos, Giannis, F1AMG, just Chris and Alonso with a top 16. Let's have a look at the position changes early on. As most positions gain, Nathan and Trippy Jeff up 4 positions, the Williams and the Hassret respectively. Gary is still trying to fight onto the back of Trippy Jeff though, and he is trying to fight, now down towards 16 and 17. It's about 4 tenths off, and everyone running now within a DRS train out on track. A really good start. Apart from that contact with Mashiro and Gary, I think all clean from everyone out on track, which is good to see. Or having a little bit of a moment there, Matt Tibos, who dropped down 2 positions, hoping not to get my prediction wrong. But Seb, right on the back of Volokongan at the final corner. Volokongan sets a new fastest lap of the race. Sway has picked up the first 3-second time penalty of the night. And we're seeing side by side further down the field. I think that's Trippy Jeff down the inside line on Ryan. Gets the move done. He is through and he's up into 10th position out on track. Sway is desynced, I should say, the graphics to the left hand side. But great move there by Trippy Jeff to get the move done. I thought it was Nathan actually running side by side with J. Cole originally. But Trippy Jeff through on Ryan. He gets the move done. How important is this as well as Seb closes right onto the back of Volokongan. Not quite close enough though, down in towards turn 6 once again. Everyone looking very good though out on track. F1MG has let through just Chris, I believe, so he's now through and he's up into 14th. But Volokongan leading the way out in front, and he's trying to do what nobody has done here at Singapore before, and is try and win this race right from the front. But look at how those tyres are really beginning to ebb away early on, because Ace Noisy and Mashiro, both on the side of mediums, are keeping up with him out on track. So Volokongan leads from Seb in second, Noisy third, Mashiro fourth, Radema in fifth, Nathan trying to get onto the back of J. Cole, running towards turn 14. But close enough, purple middle sector though, pretty much from everyone I would imagine out on track. And Trippy Jeff, 8th position, Sway right on the back as well of Gary. And it's about 3 to 4 tenths of a second I would say as he now comes through. F1AMG has lost position to Alonso. I think that might have been a let through there from F1AMG. Alonso through and he's up into 15th. That was down on the minimap. Saw that to the right hand side through turn 16 that was. So good move there from him. He is getting close. Onto lap 3 we go. Volokongan leads 3 tenths of a second. But look, all of these medium runners setting fastest laps. We must have seen about 7 fastest laps there within the space of literally a few corners out on track. Volokongan leading the way from Seb in second. Seb right on the back of him. Does he commit the move early, or does he try and just hold off this for a little bit time to come? I think as he'll try and get the overtake done down towards turn 7. Don't think he's close enough. Somebody it is though, is Mashiro, the championship leader, going down the inside of Ace Noisy, gets the move done, sails through and he's up into P3. Really good racing, and Ace Noisy really showing some good pace out on track as well. The Dutchman really doing a fantastic job. He's got his fellow countrymen in behind us with Dema, J. Cole, the 2 XL drivers right in behind him, Nathan, Trippy Jeff all over the back of him as well. But early on, he can pretty much throw a blanket over the whole field. At 6 seconds separating the top 14 out on track. Alonso and F1AMG are the ones that are struggling early on, but certainly everyone's pretty much stuck within a DRS train. Nobody should go for any sort of move. Seb now, is he going to try and go down the inside and towards turn 14? No, he's not. Volokongan hangs on and Volokongan leads out on track from Seb in second. Mashiro there in third. There's Ace Noisy in fourth. Still under pressure now from Spadema. Looks like Ace Noisy's tyres actually beginning to go off the cliff slightly. Just overheating as he's just lost the back now of Mashiro. Mashiro hunting down the front too. And down the field, Trippy Jeff was trying to look for a move there on Nathan down in towards turn 18. Not getting the move done just there. Mashiro, look at how he's latched onto the back now of the front too. These softs are really not going to go that far out on track. Volokongan leads, coming across the line onto lap 4. From 7 second, Mashiro in third, and Mashiro right there. We see Trippy Jeff, I think, has spun around the final corner. Thought he came into the pit lane, but Trippy Jeff has spun. We'll come more with that now. He's spun around the final corner. He's got caught in the outside curb, I think. There, he hasn't lost any end plate damage, which I'm glad to report. Trippy Jeff now down to the back of the field. Back on board with Seb as he now hunts down Bolokongan for the lead of the race. Is he now going to try and go for this early overtake? Now, through the outside line, Trippy Jeff has spun. Sorry, just Chris has spun. Down through turn 7, but we're going to have to try and focus on one thing rather than the other. Bolokongan makes that car look as wide as possible. Just Chris has now got back underway. He's now down at the back of the field, but Bolokongan defending well, leads the way from 7 seconds. Seb feels the need to defend down into Singapore Sling on Mashiro. And Mashiro right on the back. These mediums will be quicker at this stage of the race, trust me when I say this, than the soft compound of tyres. These softs do not last long around here in Singapore. It's about 5% tyre wear per lap around here. As now Seb has got a tremendous run. Is he going to try and go down the inside line of turn 14? Bolokongan makes that car look as wide as possible. Seb trying to go for the move down the inside at a place like you don't really associate with overtaking. He's now going to try and get the outside run through 15, but he doesn't quite. And look at everyone stacking and packing in behind. Mashiro and Noity. Swadema, J. Cole, Nathan. There's about a second and a half separating the top 7 out on track. So Seb is just being a little bit impatient, I think, out on track. He's trying to get the moves done at a part of the track where you're not necessarily going to get the move done. And I think he's got to watch behind him, because there is Mashiro's. Noisy runs out wide through the final corner. Picks up a warning, I think, for that. As now Mashiro right on the back of Seb. Doesn't close up down and towards turn 1. On lap 5 now of 31. Bolokongan leads. 7-second Mashiro in third. Looking further down the field, Sway trying to get onto the back of Ryan. This is for 9th and 10th position. Nathan trying to go up the inside there of Jekyll, just in the foreground of shots. And now Swadem has got a good run on Noisy, as has Mashiro on the back of Seb, who is going to blink first to then turn to the overtake. Seb's going around the outside of Bolokongan, trying to get the move done from a very unpromising position. He's now got the car side by side, running through turn 8. Oh, that's close to the wall. Mashiro now on the outside line. More contact, and Bolokongan's dropping like a stone through the field. Seb through, Mashiro through, and Ace Noisy could come down the inside line into the Singapore Sling. Don't go for a move there, mate. He's gone into the back of him. Left side end plate damage now for Ace Noisy. Getting a little bit too impatient with his moves, and Bolokongan hangs on to P3. Ryan and Nathan are fighting side by side, coming across the Anderson Bridge section. And now Gary tries to go up the inside line of Nathan, gets caught on the inside wall, loses left side end plate. It's just overheating slightly out on track. But Seb leads, Mashiro second, Bolokongan in third. And all of that contact really spanned from Bolokongan and Seb, making a slight bit of contact coming through turn 7. Obviously further down the field it all gets Constantine up. It's very difficult to drive in this scenario. Credit everyone out on track, but got to be patient around here. At Singapore, especially at a track like Singapore, you have got to be patient and you've got to wait for your moves. If you don't see a move happening, don't go for it. It's as simple as that. It's Noisy still not coming into pit lane, but Swadema is through, J. Cole is through, and the XL boys are now through, and Ryan can try and get the move done down in towards turn 1, not quite. Nathan into the pit lane after picking up that wing damage. Nathan into the pit lane. Gary's still continuing on with that left side unplate damage. It doesn't affect, I think, the cars around here as much. And now Mashiro, championship leader against his championship rival. Waiting behind. Oh, he waited for that inside line to come on. What a cheeky boy, Mashiro. Down the inside line in towards turn 6. Gets the move done. Brilliant stuff there by Mashiro. He is through and he's into the lead of the race. That was a very cheeky move. That's why you wait for moves around here. And that's why you wait for the gap to open. And that set of softs on Seb's car really beginning to go off. Mashiro now leads out on track. 6 laps gone here in Singapore. Sway down the inside line into the Singapore Sling. Of course, you can see Noisy. Left-hand side left-hand side end plate damage as my headset nearly fell off there. Matt Tibos is right on the back of him, in towards the hairpin. Going to try and get the switch back, but he's got to be wary because Jonas right beside him. But Matt Tibos gets the traction out the corner, tries to get the move done. Bolokongan now getting mullered by Swadema around the outside, and now Swadema gets the move done. Brilliant stuff by the Alfa Romeo man, and now he is through and he's up into third, and it's starting to rain. Out on track, the rain is beginning to fall here in Singapore. No wonder everyone went for a set of mediums early on in this race. What did the commentator know? Absolutely nothing. And Mashiro now in the rain in drivable and changeable conditions now leads the way. Seb, Bolokongan are going to have to stay out. Bolokongan is into the pit lane, in fact. He might go on for a set of early inters. We'll see his pit stop Very soon indeed, we'll ride on board there with Matt Tibos. Right on the inside line now of Ace Noisy. It's 3 wide running down the straight. Then Jonas trying to thread the eye of the needle. Round the outside and towards turn 1. Can he get the move done? Yes, he can. Matt Tibos just hanging up the camera at the corner. Ace Noisy trying to get in there as well. But brilliant parting of the Red Sea action there by Jonas. He is through and he's up into 7th. Gary and Volakongan have got onto some intermediate compounded tyres as they came into the pit lane. Ryan trying to hunt down J. Cole as well. Absolutely crazy stuff. And Ace Noisy now being overtaken by Alonso down the inside line in towards turn the King through turn 6. And now he gets the move done. F1 AMG is now going to be next up on the list. There's the position gains. Lap 7 out of 31. Alonso's getting the most out on track. 7 positions gained. But Kongan, because of his pit stop, has now came into the pit lane. Now F1 AMG side by side with this. Noisy down in towards the Singapore Sling. Singapore Sling seems to be where everyone's going to try and overtake here tonight. F1 AMG now gets the move done on Ace Noisy, and he's through and he's up into 10th position out on track. Oh, Trippy Jeff getting very close to the back as well. And Seb has now been overtaken for 2nd. So Adema is through. That set of softs really beginning to go off the cliff. Don't be surprised if you see punctures out on track very soon indeed. But Jekyll right on the back. Trippy Jeff has now got through an Ace Noisy further down the field. So much to try and keep up with. I cannot possibly keep up with anything. Everything, I should say. Out on track as Jekyll just gets caught on the curb slightly, and now Ryan right on the back of him. Coming through. Is Seb going to come into the pit lane? Yes, he is. Jekyll realises in the end. But now Ryan right on the back of his XL teammate for 3rd and 4th. So now he's up into 5th. Chionis now latching onto the back of this queue for 3rd. Everyone now just seems to have ebbed out slightly. Trippy Jeff trying to get the inside line down and towards Thermal, but doesn't. Ace Noisy is still continuing with that damage. Seb into the pit lane for a set of inters. Matt Tibos in for a set of inters. I think we're not too far away, to be honest, of seeing DRS disabled out on track. Nathan bound to pit into the pit lane. He getting on for a set of soft compounded tyres, in fact. So he's now into pit lane. Here comes Trippy Jeff down the inside line and F1 AMG. They give each other plenty of room. Pretty much the adjacent width of the track there. And Trippy Jeff now through and he's up into 8th. Good move there by Trippy Jeff. And he's through and he's up into 8th. Lap 8 out of 31. Pretty much halfway, well, nearly halfway through this lap, I should say. Mashiro's the one that leads. Comes Badema in 2nd. Mashiro 3rd. Ryan in 4th. But look at the queue now forming behind J. Cole. With Ryan, Sway, Tionis. Tionis just latching onto the back. Tionis is actually looking quite quick now. These changeable conditions really beginning to work to his favour. Not sure in terms of how much the rain is going to affect. Just Chris feels the need still to go on to a set of medium compounded tyres. You can see that's the biggest difference, I think, out on track. Look at Ace Noisy, look at Seb, look at just Chris, and look at Gary as well. We are beginning, I think, to see the track transition from a set of softs as just Chris has crashed coming through turn 7. That might deploy the safety car if he's crashed out on track as a VSE. VSE now deployed out on track, and look where Mashiro is. Mashiro is going to come into the pit lane and hope that the VSE doesn't end. So Mashiro wins the pit lane from the lead of the race, and that is an ideal scenario for him out on track. They will go, I would imagine, onto a set of intermediates out on track. Yeah, Mashiro certainly pitting in for a set of enters. But Chris's car has now been removed, so we should be back underway. Jekyll now leading as he's picked up a 3-second time. But then Trippy Jeff has retired out of the race. Not sure where that was out on track. Was that it coming into the pit lane from Trippy Jeff? Or is he retired coming into the pit lane? I'm really unsure what happened there. Let's see if there's any damage on the exit into the pit lane, on the entrance into the pit lane. It's hard to tell from that camera angle, but Seb certainly goes past Trippy Jeff's car. It's Noisy into the pit lane. Really strange goings on. Anyways, Ryan back out on a set of soft compounded tyres. Clearly put on the wrong strategy, and Sway goes through and he's up into 4th. And Ryan really gonna have to try and hang on. Tionis down the inside line. Oh, they make contact, goodness me. Very close to action. Ryan cannot keep control of that car. He is trying his desperate might to try and get that set of tyres round back into the pit lane. But it's not good enough from Ryan, and he's gone onto the wrong strategy. Clearly, I think the game has probably selected the wrong tyres. Just Chris retires out of the session, leaves the session as well. And there's Alonso to the outside line. I mean, look at that. absolutely sails on by. Matt Tibos now will go through on Ryan, and Ryan is just dropping like an absolute stone through the field. And look at the gap. I mean, Mashiro closing in on J. Cole. Ryan just gets out of the way. F1MG through, Matt Tibos through as well. And now, J. Cole has still got about a quarter of the track still yet to go. A few corners left until he gets back into pit lane. There's Mashiro. Mashiro is only on the other side of that chicane. 7.5 seconds behind, and J. Cole's been really cost of time. He's going to be in amongst Ryan sort of area when he comes out the pit lane, I feel. And Mashiro, because of that VSC, it might have just granted him the race win. It's as simple as that. DRS has obviously been disabled, I think, now out on track. We haven't seen it actually be disabled, but J. Cole into the pit lane from the lead. Now Mashiro inherits the lead out on track. J. Cole into the pit lane, and he should be coming into the pit garage very soon indeed. He's not. Did he pick up a drive-through penalty or something, J. Cole? And he's back out on track on a set of mediums. On that same set of mediums, he hasn't been pitted. I think he's had a drive-through penalty. He served a drive-through penalty from the lead of the race. Ryan has spun coming through the final corner, and yeah, this race is just going from mad to absolutely mental, I think, out on track. Ryan now back into pit lane. Somehow he's managed to get that car around without limited damage. He obviously has to replace that front wing. Now on into a set of inters, and he's going to be right at the back of the field. We're right on board though with Seb, who tries to close on the back of Tionis. Mashiro leading 10 seconds the gap. From Swadema second, Sway in third, Tionis in fourth, Seb in fifth. And now, four-way battle for second could be beginning to develop. Swadema, Sway, Tionis and Alonso. Sorry, and Seb, I should say. Not Alonso. Alonso's about 3.5 seconds behind. And actually, he's one of the chief gainers, I think, from this race so far. Trippy Jeff leaving the session after crashing either in the pit lane or retiring in the pit lane. Not sure what happened to him. There's the position gains, and Alonso right down from the back of the field, up 10 positions because of that VSC out on track. Great stuff. Tionis on 8 positions. 6 positions gained for F1 AMGs, Badem and Sway also gaining 5 positions respectively. And you can see who has and hasn't made the pit stops. J. Cole, the only one out on track not to make a pit stop out on track. He did come into the pits, didn't serve it up because I think he had a drive-through penalty. There's the latest penalties update as well. Sway with 3, F1 AMG with 6. It's nosing now through on J. Cole. J. Cole's got 8 seconds worth of penalties, and Ryan has got 3 seconds worth of penalties. See how the track has got absolutely sodden out on track. Until lap 11 we go. We're about a third of the way through nearly. Mashiro leads from Swadema second, Sway third, Tionis fourth, Seb in fifth. See if J. Cole does actually get pitted this time. As he now comes through the final corner out on track. And yes, he does. Thank you, everyone, by the way. 21 viewers now tuning into the stream. Really much appreciate your company here tonight in Division 2. Thank you very much for keeping me company as well out on track. And yeah, it's not nice having to do 2 solo commentaries within 3 nights, but the 5-second time penalty now that J. Cole is serving, he is going to go onto a set of intermediate compound of tyres. Division 3, by the way, giving you a live update in. Lighty leads the way, Isotopic second, Old School in third. Looks as if there hasn't been a safety car just yet, and many of the drivers still continuing on. Right here, we've only had 2 DNFers out on track so far. J. Cole and Ryan. Fresh out of the pit lane, 2 of course that had to go and sacrifice themselves basically on a set of dry compound of tyres. Then right to the back of the field. Could prove to be our most entertaining battle, but Tionis on the back now of Sway. So for third, Seb trying to look a little bit quick. Mashiro though has just absolutely gone. It's 9.9 seconds, and honestly, if you ask me, I cannot see him being beaten now out on track. So Wadema's second, Sway in third. Tionis just making a slight mistake, and Wadema's made a slight mistake as well out on track. Not sure what's happened to Wadema. Has he hit the wall somewhere? He's just lost a couple of seconds. And now Sway right on the back of him. We'll see if he's got any front wing damage. Sway, oh my goodness me, needed to lose it through the final corner. Tionis as well, going sideways through the final corner. Seb trying to close up Down in towards turn 1. It's Mashiro who leads. Spadema second, Sway in third. As I say, really hope you guys are enjoying this action out on track. And Honey Badger from lap 11. Tom, of course, doing the graphics in behind. Currently, as it stands, a live standings update. Mashiro leads. Obviously out on track, 187. Spadema would now be P2. He's P2 currently out on track. And he will go up into second in the standings on 156 points. Seb would be third, who got pole position with 2 points added on. He's on 144 points. And you can see him, as we ride on board with him, he's in P5, currently out on track. Massive appreciation, of course, to Tom doing the graphics. I'm sure he's going to get sick of my voice eventually. But we'll see how this race unfolds. Where, as we slowly approach the halfway stage, it's going to be easily an hour's worth of action out on track. Depending on how late we finish as well, whether or not we'll have the time to do the interviews remains to be seen. Matt Tibos, though, on the back of Alonso. And the McLaren is currently on for P7, so he's going one worse than his record that he's currently got. He's got 3 6th place finishes in a row to his name. And let's hope he doesn't make it a 4th here tonight in Singapore. He is closing up on Alonso, who's just ahead of him. Out on track, it's 5.5 tenths, now 5 tenths of a second. And Matt really getting close to the back of Alonso. She will still leading though, 12 seconds that gap. From Spadema second, Sway in third. Jake Hall and Ryan are having to go battle further down the field. Gary catching Volokongan as well, so we'll try and intertwine between these battles. We'll now go back to the battle for third, essentially. Sway has now dropped the back of Spadema. Jonas getting very sideways there. Now Seb has got a run on him down in towards turn 1. You can see the rain pelting down here in Singapore. And, of course, if you have seen the news, Singapore have signed a trade deal with the United Kingdom. So we look forward to doing justice. F1MG into the pit lane. Right side end plate damage. F1MG. Oh, and he's crashed into the pit wall. F1AMG crashes into the pit wall, and, well, he's eventually into the pit lane. That was really strange. F1AMG into the pit lane eventually, found the right gear, find the right line going in towards the corner, and yeah, he's into the pit lane eventually. Gary's right on the back of Volokongan though, and this could be a potential overtake in intermediate conditions for Gary. Try and go around the outside, coming through turn 6. Volokongan making that car look as wide as possible. Gary on the inside line. Can he get the car stopped? Give each other plenty of room to deal with, and Volokongan hangs on. I don't think Gary is going to come back at him, but Gary looks up for this. Gary really beginning to excel, no pun intended there, on a set of intermediate compound of tyres. He's against the TNR man of Volokongan. Of course, next week you can tune in to Canada for the Esports Masters League. XL and TNR will be doing battle, of course, in that alongside the other teams, the other 18 teams, yes, 18 teams that we've got in the standings in both Premier and League One. League One, of course, there'll be Aidan Carter and Daniel Hoggard taking you through that one. And also for Premier, it is going to be the reunited coupling of myself and Kieran McGinley, as long as he doesn't have, of course, the F1 Challenger Series. Gary, though, still on the back of Volokongan. Matt Tibbles has just dropped off now to second off Alonso, but we're on board with Seb right on the back of Tionas. Down in towards turn 1. You can see everyone just conserving the ERS. It's, of course, natural, I think, within these wet compound of tyres and on these intermediates, I should say, to not dispose of the ERS that much, to be honest, because you've got to try and save it up, to try and have a go at drivers. If it's going to be a dry period towards the end of the race, will remain to be seen, obviously, but currently these cars are going to be disposing of about 25-30 litres worth of water from those tyres. Wet compound of tyres, of course, dispose of about 75-80 litres worth on a wet compound of tyre. It's going to be fascinating to see how and when and if drivers can try and get an overtake. Gary on the back of Volokongan. Again, trying to close up, use up as much overtake mode as possible. Try and get the move done, and Gary will be pumped up after his contact early on with Mashiro. That cost him a really good chance, I think. Oh, now Gary goes down the inside line, forces Volokongan nearly into the wall there with a slight bit of contact between them both, it seemed. Volokongan's went wide. Gary's coming. Volokongan really under pressure now, running down towards the Singapore sling. Battle for 9th and 10th. Ryan, Jekyll looking quite close. Gap for 4th and 5th looking quite stagnant. Jonas and Seb separated by 5/10 of a second, but here comes Gary. Down on the Anderson Bridge section. Trying to get the move done, but he's still waiting desperately for an overtake possibility. It's not going to be there as he gets a slight bit of oversteer coming out of the corner. Can he get the car stopped? Just about. Well, Congan runs wide, and now Gary is still right on the back of him. This is the closest battle we've certainly had in the intermediate running so far. Volokongan runs out wide. This is Gary's opportunity now, coming through 17. Now towards 18 and 19. I've seen, honestly, in my time in league racing, I have actually gone for a move down and towards turn 18. And yes, guess where it ended up me? In the wall and out the race. Simple as that. A mistake I will never make in my life. Just saying, that is really hard to try and overtake around there. Gary, running on the back of Volokongan, gets a much thinner line, and now he opens up the taps. Can he get moved down in towards turn 1? No. Halfway through now in TTML Division 2. Really hope you are enjoying tonight's race. If you are, like, comment, subscribe. Tick that notification bell, of course, if you are new. Mashiro currently out on top. Comes down the second, Sway in third, but the battle you are continuously on board with currently is Gary. Right on the back of Volokongan. F1 AMG has just crashed coming through turn 18, but now we'll focus on Gary. Right on the back of Volokongan. Can he get the move done? Down the inside and towards turn 7. Going to be very late on the brakes. Volokongan, but the traction around the outside makes it look pretty easy. Gets away from the corner quicker. He's now through and he's up into 10th. And Nathan, 8 seconds behind, but 8 seconds is a big margin that can come down very quickly indeed out on track. Seb beginning to excel as well out on track. Look at now how the rain is falling. This might be, honestly, interchangeable conditions between wet and inters. Wets, of course, dispose of 75 litres worth of water from the tyres, disposed of course, on the track. Inters only disposing 25-30, so as the rain comes down, it's literally been replaced out on track with as much water coming down. You can see a little bit of standing water actually as we come through, and now everyone's in. Mashiro into the pit lane, and they go on to full wet compound of tyres. Exactly what I said might happen has just happened, and Mashiro, the championship leader, the leader of the race, is now back out. Alonso and Matt Tibos continue on, so this is going to be fascinating. Is Mashiro going to be quicker on a set of wets, or is Matt Tibos and Alonso going to be quicker on a set of inters? Ryan, I think, has crashed. No, sorry, it's Gary. Gary has gone straight on through turn 17 into 18. He hasn't picked up any front wing damage. I think he got the car turn as we came on board with him. So now Gary really struggling in these tyres. Matt Tibos right on the back of Alonso, chasing him down. Absolute rain, sodden conditions. This is the heaviest rain I've seen, certainly on this game before. And Mashiro, 8.5 seconds behind. Is it still inters or is it still wet? Well, according to the graphics, the left-hand side, it looks as if we're in the interchangeable period, to be honest. 8.2 seconds between Matt Tibos and Mashiro is the one to look out for. 8 seconds now, the gap, 7.9. Looks to me as if it might be wet compounded tyres. Volokongan, Gary, I should say, racing out of the pit lane. Ryan Jekyll all in. Absolutely rain-soaked here in Singapore. Oh, Matt Tibos nearly into the back of Alonso. Goodness me, that was close to the back of him. But Alonso leads, Matt Tibos in second, Mashiro in third. And now, because it's just turned wet, 15 laps still to go as F1 AMG has crashed, I think, coming into pit lane. He's ran through the final corner. F1 AMG not enjoying conditions out there, out on track. He's nearly going to be lapped, I think. The cars are now coming around the final couple of corners through 17, 18 they're going through at the minute. And Matt Tibos wants to try and get this move done on Alonso. This is full position out on track. But I think with that overrun going into the grandstand section, you can see how wet it is out on track. Alonso, Matt Tibos, Tom having a shelter from the rain. He's already sheltering from the rain, but we'll have to see how this unfolds. Top two are in. Alonso, Matt Tibos, and Mashiro continues on a set of wet compound of tyres, leading the way, and now inherits the race lead once again. So Mashiro leading, Tom Zwiedema in second position. And to be honest, I'll take so far how it's going, to be honest, in terms of the race. In terms of my top 3, remember, I said Mashiro, Seb, and Zwadema, I think, for my top 3, if I'm not mistaken. Something in that order, anyways. And, look, Mashiro's in first, Zwadema's second, Seb is in 5th. Not too bad going from a head commentator here in TTML, is it? Mashiro leading the way. You can see the lines that these guys have been taking out on track. It's only going to get more rain-soaked as well. Zwadema in 2nd, Sway in 3rd, Tionis in 4th, Seb in 5th. I wish we could bring you more action, but we can't. We just have to ride on board with whatever's closest, to be honest, out on track. You can see Roundabout's got very dark very quickly here in Singapore. Now through turn 17. I think, judging by this, we might be finished about 10 o'clock. Judging by these wet compound tyres that we are seeing, this wet running will continue, I think, until probably towards the end of the race. Mashiro the leadings, Zwadema 2nd, Sway in 3rd, Tionis in 4th, Seb in 5th. And we'll run on board with Tionis now, on the back of Seb. Trying to get the move done. Down through into the hairpin there. And fastest lap currently going to Just Chris, but he's out of the race. So Just Chris out of the race, he will not pick up the point, I believe. So the fastest lap currently of those that are continuing is Alonso. 40.1 is currently the fastest lap out on track. There's the man there. He's got the fastest lap currently out on track. And if he stands as it is in P6, he will pick up that fastest lap point. Of course, you can't pick up the fastest lap point, I don't think, if you're not really still in the race. Mashiro leads though on towards lap 18, and Matt Tibos running the back here of Alonso. 25 seconds, Matt Tibos off the back of his teammate Mashiro out on track, and brilliantly done so far. Matt Tibos still hunting down another 6th position. And honestly, if he gets another 6th position, as I say, he could be one of the most unluckiest drivers of the season so far in terms of his luck that he gets out on track. I really hope you guys are enjoying things, of course. Prospect of a no-deal Brexit, vaccines on the way, life goes on, and Matt Tibos tries to hunt down Alonso as you ride on board with him, and ride on board with me, of course. Lap 18 out of 31, about halfway through, I would say, lap 18. Mashiro leading. With Emma in 2nd, everyone quite stagnant. You can hardly see the car ahead from Matt Tibos' perspective. Goodness knows what it's like from driving in this perspective. And Alonso currently P6, Matt Tibos in P7. And don't adjust your screens. If you think it is steamy, your screen, trust me, yes it is. Because mine is exactly the same. Matt Tibos right on the back of Alonso. Trying to get the move done. But still, not really much time in terms of action going on. We'll continue to run on board with this battle for now. Gary trying to get close to Nathan. The XL boys are really not doing well, apart from Zwadema in 2nd. Jekyll down in 13th, Ryan 12th, with Gary 11th. Matt Tibos now. You can hear the rain. Oh, I'll shut up for a minute. You can hear the rain as it comes down, bouncing off the car. Yeah, faint rain patter in the background. Yeah, that's what these drivers are having to deal with out on track. On their helmets, getting their suits wet. They're going to be certainly in for an early shower, I can tell you that. Goodness me. Matt Tibos though 7th. That is, I believe, F1 AMG who's been lapped behind. Seb though, trying to get onto the back of Tionis. 4th and 5th. All of these guys having to really struggle their way around. And given that we've still got 13 laps of this race to go, and we're going to be running probably around 1 minute 50, 1 minute 50 odd lap times out on track, it might be worth if we don't do the interviews here tonight, because of how long this race is going to be. Obviously, I don't think the guys would want that, but we can promise you, hopefully, at least a couple of interviews with the top 3 next week. We'll see how it gets to the end of the race. We'll see in terms of timing how it goes to the end of the race. This one's wide coming through turn 6, and now Seb hunting down towards turn 7. Trying to get the move done once again. He's still not close enough, just not anywhere close enough. You can see how sodden the track is here in Singapore. Still glad I'm in a warm commentary box, I'll give you that. Mashiro leads the way, 15.2 seconds. Badema second. Sway currently in third. I'm just going to open my advent calendar because I am a little bit hungry. Mashiro leading the way. Badema in second. We've got Nathan now right on the back of Volakongan out on track. Nathan lagging up a little bit. Volakongan 9th. Nathan 10th. Gavin 11th currently. Lovely bit of chocolate that. Volakongan in 9th. Nathan in 10th. Gary in 11th. And this is now battle for what would be, let's say to the race, Gary. My God, inches apart from the left-hand side of the track there in the Anderson Bridge. And now he tries to hunt down onto the back of Nathan and onto the back of Volakongan. These guys are relatively still fresh on their tyres. But I do think it will mean that these guys will go towards the end of the race. My TV is going to turn off in 60 seconds, which is not great. There we are. Nathan's still on the back of him. Trying to hunt him down. Still got 11 laps to go after this one. Nathan right on the back of him. Volakongan nearly catches the wall out on the left-hand side. So he's dropped off the back as Badema, and it's bringing Tionis into play. And Seb as well. So three-way battle for third beginning to develop out on track. Nathan though, round the final corner. Can he get the move done on Volakongan down in towards turn 1? But the simple answer to this is no. Simple as that. Safety car out on track. Safety car out on track. And I don't know what it's for. It's not for F1 AMG. It's not for J. Cole and Ryan. I'm clueless. I'm absolutely clueless. Has the rain got too much, I wonder? Out on track, and the safety car's been deployed. Mashiro now leads. And I'm about as clueless as you guys are, if I've got to be honest. Safety car's been deployed 11 laps from the end of the race. And Mashiro leads. Now, if anybody can tell me what happened there, it'll be much appreciated, because I do not have a clue what went on. Don't see anybody in the wall or anything like that. But a safety car has been deployed nonetheless. So, yeah, answered on a postcard, I think, with that one. Mashiro leading from Badema in second. These guys, of course, will have to stay on that wet set of tyres. And Mashiro having to stick to the delta time, of course, out in front. And now, with what will be 10 laps to go after this lap has been completed, Mashiro in first, Badema second, Sway in third. Honey Badger, Mr. Tom, is coming now live into my Discord, and I'm just trying to see if he knows what happened in terms of the safety car. Now, I was watching the screen at the time, and I couldn't see anything. So, yeah, I don't know. Mashiro, though, has joined onto the back of the virtual Burt Marlander. So Badema second, Sway third, Tionis fourth, Seb in fifth. We see Nathan being overtaken by Gary, in fact. Gary 10th, Nathan in 11th. Tom saying, yeah, we'll show the live standings right after the message of the safety car coming in this lap. We might have to wait quite a while, I think, for that to happen, to be honest. Looking at everyone out on track, Nathan is into the pit lane, I believe. Yeah, Nathan into the pit lane. He's got left side end plate damage on that car, and he's picked up 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. That has to be removed, surely. Nathan into the pit lane then. Onto a set of wets he will go, as long as he still continues on. We'll go onto a fresh set of wet compound of tyres. Ryan 12th, Jekyll 13th. Something changed now for Nathan. Don't think it would have been him that brought out the safety car, if I'm not mistaken. It would have been more for like a front wing being lost rather than an end plate damage out on track, or for a car being recovered even. But Mashiro leading the way. There's your championship leader and your current race leader out on track. 6 seconds currently in front. Of course, we're going to be in the safety car probably for a few laps, I would think, as Mashiro leads out on track. It's so difficult, I think, as well. Not only because the safety car is out, it's going to be so difficult because not everyone is going to catch the safety car queue, I feel, because out on track it's going to be the case where Mashiro will be the safety car when it comes in. The likes of Gary, Ryan, J. Cole, I'm certainly thinking Ryan, J. Cole, Nathan, beyond them, I don't think they might catch the safety car queue. I mean, look at them where they are out on track. They've still got another full lap of trying to go full pelt to try and catch up the safety car. Really difficult to catch the safety car in these conditions. So it's going to be fascinating to see. As you can see, Mashiro just got into the inside line there to try and dispose of a little bit of water, try and make the track as fresh as possible. F1AMG's picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That was through turn 21, I think. He's just coming around there now. And back on track, Mashiro leads. Yeah, I'm honestly as about clueless as anybody else is as to why the safety car is currently out on track. But I really hope you guys are enjoying the action, of course, out on track. And we have got more action to come for you, of course, tomorrow night. Division 4 and Division 5. Going to be taking you through the action there. Will be Graham Chappell and Cowboy for Division 4. And for Division 5 it is myself and Daniel Hoggard. Hopefully the first time and maybe the last time this week that I will have to do another solo commentary, but Dan will be alongside me in the commentary box tomorrow night for Division 5, and it's going to be hopefully better in terms of the driving standards. Now, if you've been focusing on Division 5, you will have seen quite a lot of action. We're going to try and get an interview with Jippy Storm right at the beginning of the stream tomorrow evening, and what we'll also try and do is give you as much as we can updates on what is happening. Now, I know one driver certainly has left the league for Division 5, which is not a surprise given the disgraceful driving standards from last week. But we have to remain and be positive. Hopefully there's going to be a fantastic race, of course, out on track. And are we going to see the safety car come in this lap? I think we would have seen it come in by now. Or certainly the safety car light to go off by now. But rain seems to be getting like quite... It's still heavy rain, but it seems to be getting quite thinner, if you know what I mean. It seems to get a little bit lighter, I think, out on track compared to what it was just a lap or so ago. And you can see, honestly, the spray that even the virtual Bert Marlander is picking up out on track is unbelievable. Mashiro is just having to sit and wait. Not everyone, as I say, is back on the back of the safety car queue. We're still waiting for Vola Kongan, Gary, Ryan, J. Cole, and Nathan. F1AMG is in there in the pit stops. Oh, and if we had a spin, Alonso was spun. The safety car, he's lost his complete and utter front wing coming out of turn 17 and 18. And he's lost his end plates. It's as simple as that. He's spun under the safety car. Alonso into the pit lane then with a T-tray. That's the person I can physically remember running a T-tray in TTL. Certainly was toxic last season. Alonso into the pit lane from what was a very promising 6th position. And now Matt Tibos currently on for that 6th position. Alonso now back out. He has to continue on. He has to troop on. Will be behind Nathan when he comes out of the pit lane. But Alonso P12, Nathan now up to P12, Alonso now P13, F1AMG still P14, even though he's in the safety car queue. He is a lapped car, and it could cause a little bit of concern for Ace Noisy. Here's the car behind him out on track. Hopefully, F1AMG will get out of the way. Still under the safety car. 3 laps on, and we still haven't got the safety car coming in. So we've got 8 more laps to go, 7.5 if you are being picky. Mashiro leading the way from Spadema in second. Sway in third, Chonas fourth and 7 fifth. The top 5 have really stayed that way since the VSC came out early on in the race. And Tibos running in 6th, Noisy 7th, Vola Kongan 8th, Gary 9th, Ryan filling out the top 10. Jekyll 11th, Nathan 12th, Alonso 13th, F1AMG, who is stuck in that safety car queue. He is in 14th position, hasn't been lapped by anybody else. Mashiro still leading the way. I wonder if we're going to see the safety car come out this lap around, or this time around. We should say about here when it is going to, if it does come in. And yeah, it does. So safety car is going to be coming in this lap. Top 3 as it stands as Ace Noisy has spun through the hairpin. He has all sorts of positions. And Ace Noisy is another one that has spun under the safety car. Mashiro though, Machiro, though, is the safety car. Now out on track. He is the virtual Burt Marlander. There is the virtual Burt Marlander. But now Machiro is the safety car. And he's got to try and time this right. In really tricky conditions. Expect these last 8 laps to go by like the tortoise versus the hare. That's all I'm going to warn you with. We could see Chaos Carnage we haven't seen before in Division 2 this season. And hopefully we might see a good ending to this race. As now Machiro looks like he is about to go on the power. And he has to wait. He just has to back up the pack. He's keeping a consistent pace. And now he says go. Machiro ran the final couple of corners very hesitantly. Safety car is in. And Machiro does not get the greatest start. He gets a real slide on. And there's Madema for the race lead. Is going to try and get the move done down in towards turn 1. Goodness me, Machiro absolutely all over the place coming through turn 1. Coming up towards turn 1. Out of the final corner. He did not get the traction down. How he's still in the lead of the race, I do not know. Machiro still leads. Madema second. Sway third. We're back on the way here in Singapore. Jonathan fourth with 7. Fifth, Matt Tibos now latching onto the back of the front crew. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. And it looks like F1MG who is round. F1MG round. Now Sway to the outside line. Jonas on the inside line. Jonas trying to get the move done. And he does. Ran the outside and towards turn 6. Gets the move done. A little bit of contact with the back of Madema. But Jonas is through and he's up into third. Sway now coming back at him. Down the inside line. Little bit of rubbing wheels. But Sway doesn't get the move done. He's now fortunate that Seb hasn't got back through on him. Seb now right on the back. Gets the overrun. Down into Singapore's thing. You do not want to go side by side into here. And they don't. Machiro leads 1.2 seconds out on track. Comes Madema second. Jonas third. Sway fourth. Seb fifth. Matt Tibos 6th, Wallakongan 7th, Gary 8th, Ryan 9th, Jake Cullen 10th, the yellow flag in Sector 2's F1AMG, he is off down at the Singapore Sling. He was a lap down anyways, I think he's 2 laps down now if I'm not mistaken. The car has recovered. Seb goes in on the back of Sway, not close enough. Matt Tibos latching onto the back as well. Wallakongan having to take an offensive line now on Gary, just in behind for 7th and 8th. Gary recovering well into this race as well after early contact with Machiro. Look at Matt Tibos though, all over the back of Seb. He's not going to get an overrun down in towards turn 18, is he? No, tries to go around the outside line. No way can he pull this one off. Oh, he has to back off. But Matt Tibos is looking very racy out on track. His run of sixth place finishes might just come to an end here tonight because he's absolutely all over the back of Seb, who is really struggling in these conditions out on track tonight. Machiro who leads, comes with them as second. Ace Noisy's picked up a 3-second time penalty. Tiana Stev in third. Sway 4th, 7th, 5th. Looking in behind. Wallakongan and Gary have now joined the fray. And Gary into the back of Wallakongan. Wallakongan just easy on the brakes. Gary trying to force the move. And there's another safety car out on track as F1MG has crashed out on track coming through turn 17. And a full safety car has been deployed once again. And this is unbelievable. Another safety car here tonight. 2 safety cars, 1 VSC now as we go on. And Machiro has got to do it all over again. He'd be hoping that his second restart under the safety car is not going to be as disastrous nearly as his first. But he does lead the way with what will be 6 laps to go after this one. Machiro out in front. But look at that man there. Alonso. He's just been into the pit lane and is on fresh compound of tyres. Nathan as well on fresh compound of tyres on that set of wets. Will these set of wets get to the end of the race? They're more durable. I think they will probably get to the end of the race, but it begs the question. These guys have now been on this tyre for like 9 laps now, so it could be quite interesting to see if these guys can get to the end. Certainly out on track. As it stands, Machiro leading the way to Madema in second. Jake Hall has got a 5-second time belief for a severe collision with Ryan just in front of him. Ryan in 9th, Jake Hall 10th, Ace Noisy 11th, Nathan 12th, Alonso in 13th position. And my goodness me, we're under a safety car if you are just tuning in to this. And honestly, another safety car does not do me the world of good. I'm going to have to commentate over another safety car restart, but it is looking good. Oh, Alonso's got a drive-through penalty. Just as soon as I said he might be the one to watch in this race, he's just picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Honest, goodness me, having a moment out of the final couple of corners there. That is Sway into the pit lane. So Sway into the pit lane. Is he coming in, I wonder, for a set of inters? Or is it a full set of wets? Let's have a look. It is another full set of wets. So full set of wets now for Sway and a front wing change. So no wonder he's going into the pit lane. He's got a front wing change. Alonso into the pit lane. And he is going to be the one that has to pit stop because, of course, you cannot serve your drive-through penalty under the safety car. He is going to be pitted in, but he's got nothing to lose. He goes onto a set of intermediate compound of tyres, and he thinks that the rain is going to ease off very soon indeed. And look, the rain is easing off. Just as soon as he came into pit, and that might be the most perfect stop you might ever see if those tyres can get up to warmth. That might be Alonso back in this, even though he's got a drive-through penalty. It is that man there, though. Mishiro out on top. Swadema second, Sionis third, Seb fourth, Matt Tibos now fifth, with Volokongan in sixth position. And Matt Tibos, currently, his run of sixth are now beginning to come to an end. Yeah, I'm ready, Tom, for the standings, for the live standings as it is out on track. I think we've had a little bit of a change up because Seb P4, Mashiro Sudama still the same positions. Seb P4 currently, I think he's gained an extra 3 points if I'm not mistaken. So if I'm not mistaken, the gap, the front two remain the same. Mashiro on 187, Sudama on 156. Seb now in P4, if I'm not mistaken, he's got 147 points. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Tom, but he's got 147 points, if I'm not mistaken, out on track. Could be wrong, could be more, could be less. Mashiro leading the way. We've still got the safety car out, so we're going to be out for at least another lap. As Mashiro leads. What will be on to lap 27. We will only have, after lap 27, 4 more laps to go. And this race is going to develop up into a real sprint. Look! Rain easing out on track. I don't think it's going to be dry right at the end of the race, but you never know. Mashiro across the line to start lap 27 out on track. Nathan has ran wide. Sway is coming back into the pit lane. Has he picked up more from wing damage, Sway? Coming in. No, he's in for a set of inters. So another set of inters from I should say, from Sway. He clearly feels that it is the point in the race where he switches on, and he realises that Alonso, who's ahead of him, has got a drive-through penalty as well. So Sway, this might be an intuitive stop into the pit lane. Don't know what that camera angle was about. Goodness me, that was not me controlling it. It might have been the one that was controlling it by Mark Webber as tyre came off. But Mashiro out in front from Zvedema second, Sionis in third. I hope we're not going to get any PK gate or Renault gate out on track. But Mashiro's Zvedema, Sionis, top 3. And this now potentially is going to be the race to the end. Don't think we'll get another safety car. Don't think we'll get another VSC. But you never know here in Division 2. Currently, though, Division 2, really accelerated on track. Division 3 is probably ended by now, to be honest. Yeah, they have literally just ended. So Division 3 has ended. And Taeun from Division 3, not sure if you're tuning into Division 2 now, he used to race in CWC, which has moved channel, obviously, onto the game. It's replaced somewhere where I can join TTML. Yeah, just have a look on TTML_F1. I know Mark has done that, Division 3 admin. On Twitter, TTML_F1 if you do want to get involved in any of the leagues. Safety car in this lap. 4 more laps to go at the end of this one. I'm not going to spoil the result for Division 3, but I'll just say that one of the ones I've just mentioned has just won. Mashiro, now is the safety car. Has got to be very, very careful on the safety car restart. He does not want to start like he did last time, where he nearly spun it through the final corner and nearly lost the race lead. On the set of wet compound of tyres, though, they could be quite vulnerable. Sway, especially, 13th position. He might not end up that way right at the end of this race. He's pitted in for Santa Vinters, and now we're about to get back underway as Mashiro goes through turn 21. And now we're about to get back underway, and it's a great restart this time from Mashiro, gingerly through the final 2 corners. But a great restart from Mashiro, and a great restart as well from Tionison behind, as Vadema is now a second down. Mashiro's got a tremendous start off the line. J. Cole hasn't though. J. Cole under pressure from Ace Noisy, and now Ace Noisy. Nathan down on the inside line, down in towards turn 1. Sway already through on Alonso, who's got that drive-through penalty. J. Cole round the outside line. Nathan on the inside line. Gary trying to force his way through as well. 3-way battle for 9th out on track. Nathan on the outside line. J. Cole on the inside line. Gary there. Sway is just hanging on in there as well. Sway could get the whole lot of them. He could sweep them up. J. Cole nearly in the wall. Gets 1 at least. And now he could get 2. Gary under pressure from Sway. Sway on the outside line now. Running down in towards turn 7. Can he get the move done? No, he can't. Gary hangs on for grim life. Now towards turn 7. That was turn 6, of course. And Gary comes through. Nearly out on track. Getting the move done. Sway. The one outside of Inters. We're pretty much at the crossover period, I would say, between the tyres. Can Sway make those Inters work? 4 more laps. I don't think he'll end up in 11th position. I think he'll end up towards the top end of the field, if I've got to be honest. The way this race is going to run, I think, as we see yellow flag in sector 2, and Jonas on, there's a right pile-up coming in towards the hairpin. Goodness knows what has happened there. Did not see that to save my life at all. But what I can say is Tiona's got caught up in that. Bolakongan has been caught up in that as well. Ryan now on the inside line. Absolute chaos and carnage. Ryan, Bolakongan. Seb tries to go around the outside of both of them. They're in the wall. Ryan comes across, and this is absolutely unbelievable. Ryan is trying to control this car. He's getting absolutely mullered. And this is not Division 2 driving standards. This is more like Demolition Derby, if I've got to be honest. But look at that man there. What literally I've just said, Sway will not end up in 11th position. He's now in 6th because of that. Noisy and Bolakongan have now came into contact. Goodness knows what's going to happen there with the stewards. Sway, though, was on the back of Nathan. He is also on the back of Seb, who got caught up in a little bit of action. Oh, Jonas gets wide. Now with 3 laps to go. Nathan on the inside line. Oh, cuts across on Sway. And now Gary down on the inside line, trying to force his way through. Track limits really being abused. Nathan's through. Gary's not going to go around the outside of both of them in towards turn 4. Nathan runs wide. Gary's going to get boxed in, but Gary's going to get a sensational run on Nathan. He's got 1 wing damage, and now Gary is going to get the move done. This will be the best move of the race so far if he can pull it off. Nathan on the inside line. Gary on the outside line. Trying to get the move done around the outside. Forced out wide. And now he's on the inside line. Gary down the inside. Can he get the move done through turn 8? Nearly. Has a little bit of a sideways action. Look at Sway. Sway trying to get involved. J. Cole's back in this as well. Absolutely unbelievable. Yellow flag in sector 2. Looks like Swadema has gone off. Swadema's gone off. There's so much happening. There's more from wing damage going off there from somebody. Swadema has now spun. And he's crashed coming towards the Anderson Bridge section. These wets are not going the distance. Mashiro leading the way. You've all got to be careful. Matt Tibbles is in 2nd, for goodness sake. Zwadema in 3rd. Sway's right on the back of Nathan. I dare not to comment on what's going to be happening in the end of this race. Nathan now on the inside line, defending too aggressively again. Forces Sway out wide. Jekyll right on the back. Seb's got damage. Nathan didn't have the great run, and now Sway's surely got to get through, and he is. Sway's through, and he's up into P4. Finally gets the move done. Nathan just defending really too hard. But look at the Inters. They're absolutely fresh as a daisy. Is it impossible for Sway to win this? Goodness knows. Swadema's got from wing damage. Sway to the inside line now through turn 20. Swadema should just back off this. And Sway's through, and he's up into 3rd. Great racing. Sway now through, and he's up into 3rd. And now he can set his sights on Matt Tillos. He's got 8.8 seconds to gain. He's got full tyres out on track. J. Cole. Swadema's sideways out the final corner. Now Gary on the inside line. And Gary's through on Swadema. J. Cole trying to get through on Nathan. They close inside of each other. That is, well, not what you like to see. That is PG-18 on Division 2. If you are a kid, tune out now, I think. J. Cole up to 4th as a result of that move. Sway, though, 7.2 seconds. I think it's impossible for him to win, but Can he get Matt Tibble? 7 seconds? You know, it might not be impossible. But goodness me, I wish I had another commentator with me for that, but I don't. It's as simple as that. Mashiro leading the way for Kongan and Ryan. Ryan gets the move done down in towards turn 1. Good clean move there by Ryan. Through and he's up into 11th. Follow Kongan 12th. Ace Noisy in 13th. Look at that man there though. Sway, 5.5 seconds. I said it was an intuitive pit stop because Alonso pitted in with a drive-through penalty. Alonso's now in 9th position after that drive-through penalty. And he could still be with a chance of getting the Lexus with Zvedema. Gary maybe seeing on penalty, but Zvedema, Sway, 4.5 seconds off the back of Matt Tibos. This is now going to be a race toward the line. This is now going to be Sway possibly going for 2nd position out on track. Absolutely unbelievable stuff, but goodness me, the amount of action that we saw there, I don't have a clue what happened. The stewards is going to take an absolute look at what has happened. Honestly, if I've got to be honest, whatever you saw there, it's not Division 2 standard. It's more like Division 5 last week. And it's a shame to say that because Division 2 has been fantastic all season. Sway's just picked up a 3-second time, but he's got now 6 seconds to gain on Matt Tibos. But yeah, Lando coming in saying, what on earth? I totally agree. What on earth? Onto the final lap we come though. Mashiro leading the way for Matt Tibos in 2nd. But that man there, Sway, if he can overtake Matt Tibos, if he can pull away, he's going to try and get the move done. Sway now trying to go down the inside. Seb's trying to go down the inside on Nathan. Not quite. Both of them got damage. J. Cole's got damage, I think, as well on the right side. Now Nathan gets a good run, gets a superior run. Now out towards turn 4. J. Cole on the outside. Nathan using the cars. A little bit of a braking market, to be honest there. Seb now on the back of this. We're not going to go through right down in towards turn 7. J. Cole and Nathan. Contact between them both. J. Cole just was losing the car, I think, at the time. He's got right side end plate damage. And now J. Cole out of contention. And he just lost, even worse, his left side end plate. Sway now on the back of Matt Tibos. Matt Tibos. Sway up to 2nd. Absolutely unbelievable. Sway now up to 2nd. Look at how he will gain on the back of Mashiro. But he's got to try and pull out about 4 seconds on the back of Matt Tibos here. It's not impossible. He's only got to pull out 3 seconds, I think. Goodness knows what Tom's thinking on this final lap of the race. I really feel sorry. But Mashiro leading the way from Sway in 2nd. Matt Tibos in 3rd. Absolute crazy end to this race here in Singapore. But that man there, Mashiro, is coming around the final couple of corners out on track. Sway, who has swayed his way through the field and he's through and he's up into 2nd, is going to try and desperately get Matt Tibos for that podium position. But Mashiro has been dominant. The championship leader has been dominant out on track. He's been the cleanest and he comes around the final corner to win in Singapore. The fireworks go off for the championship leader. He wins. Sway is on the cusp for 2nd because Matt Tibos, 2.9 seconds behind, drops out of 3 seconds and Sway should surely get this now. Sway across the line. He doesn't get 2nd because of that 6 seconds and Matt Tibos gets 2nd out on track. What does the commentator know? Nathan's got damage on the right hand side. Seb now trying to come right on the back of Nathan. Can he have a run? It could be a photo finish coming across the line. Seb 4th, Nathan 5th, Gary 6th, Alonso in 7th. Zvedema and Nathan, look at that. Alonso goes up to 5th because of the penalty situation. Tionis, Ryan getting overtaken by J. Cole late on. Tionis across the line in 9th. Ryan across the line in 10th. J. Cole across the line in 11th. He's got 5 seconds out onto that time. Bolakongan across the line to finish in 12th. And he jumps J. Cole. And Ace Noisy on his debut. Looked promising early on, but didn't amount to anything. And he crossed the line to finish in P12 in the end. He jumps ahead of one of the drivers that had penalties. Alonso, a voted driver of the day. To be honest, he could get driver of the day as well from the in-game fans. So well done to Alonso for picking up the championship, I should say, picking up the driver of the day. Mashiro, though, top of the standings, and another win in Singapore for him, and he extends the championship lead. Is it now faithful to say Mashiro's got one hand on the championship? Great racing, though, out on track. Just a shame about the final couple of laps. I don't know what happened in terms of the contact. It's disgraceful, if I've got to be honest, what you saw, but there we are. It's racing at the end of the day. As we should see any second now. The top three, Mashiro out on top for Matt Tibos in second, and McLaren 1-2 for the first time this season. Sway finishing in third with 7-4. Alonso finishing in fifth, Nathan in sixth, with Demma in seventh, Gary in eighth, Jonathan ninth, Ryan rounding off the top 10. Bolakongan in 11th, Noisy in 12th, Jay Cole in 13th, F1 AMG, Trippy Jeff and just Chris, I should say, are the ones not finishing. Just ASAS, somebody else I commentate on. Just Chris not finishing the race either. But Mashiro wins. 63 minutes that race took. 63 minutes. I am absolutely shattered. What we will try and do for next week is grab an interview with Mashiro, grab some words as well with Matt Tibos and Sway. The interviews, though, after those final couple laps, I don't want to do any because I think my voice is cooked, first of all, and another solo commentary is now out the way. Tom, I thank you, though, mate, for honestly driving me through this. The graphics, all sorts coming good. I do apologise about my absolute mess-up of the track introduction. I accidentally clicked on another video, I guarantee you that. But Division 2 has finally ended. Division 3 ended about 20 minutes ago, probably at this rate. And hopefully we get to see you, of course, if you've enjoyed somehow the action out on track. At TTML_F1 is the place to go. We will be back, of course, tomorrow night. Division 4 and Division 5 are going to be taped for you live, of course, on League Racing TV. Division 4 is Graham Chappell and Cowboy taking through the action. Then Division 5 it's myself and Daniel Hoggard taking through the action for tomorrow night in Singapore. And then next week, of course, within the calendar here at TTML, we do go to the infamous circuit of Japan. We go to Japan next week, Bashiro's home track. Can he wrap up the championship there? You will have to find out and wait and see. And what I will deliver to you, though, is an early Christmas present, because I can take you through the live standings, the top three, without the penalties being added, of course, out on track. And look at how it changed. Mashiro on 187 points going into next week, 40 points ahead of Seb. He won't be able to wrap up the championship, I don't think. Seb in second on 147, and Swadema in third on 144. And if you have enjoyed the racing, and if you've enjoyed the commentary, at B52 Head, I should say, is my tag on Twitter. If you do want to give me a follow, you can give Tom a follow as well. All of the links in the description are in all of the links for us, our commentary team, are in the description. You'll be able to see all the leagues there as well, CRC, CWC, that are covered on this channel as well. Esports Masters League next week as well. Remember, no Sprint League next Wednesday either. But thank you so much for tuning in to Singapore tonight. I'm sorry we didn't have Mike Edwards alongside me in the commentary box. Hopefully he will be here fresh as a daisy next week, and hopefully he'll get a new internet provider, I think, out on track. But that is it from us here tonight. I've waffled on a little bit too much, so we'll end it here. Thank you so much for watching in Singapore. Please stay safe in this crazy, crazy world that we live in. And until next time, goodbye.